All right. Chat, I'm a minute late. Okay. So, give me like 1 sec. I really should have did this before, but it's only gonna be like a minute or two. I gotta like copy this stream. First off, yeah, I gotta copy this stream and then put it on my like this no, my Instagram. Yeah, my Instagram. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. So like give me give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the chat and everything. Okay, so trying to think. My bad, I done lost my mind for a sec. I was doing good till like last week. No, till this week, because I was on time every week, and now I'm like 2 minutes late already. Ugh, I swear I'll be having more time with this. Okay, so let me just get this link, let it load, and I'll copy this link. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, today we are going to be continuing the Teen Titan stream, and I'm going to be drawing Control Freak. So, I don't know if you guys remember or have seen Teen Titans and know who Control Freak is. If I'm not mistaken, he's an original character to the Teen Titans 2003 version. I don't know if he like originated from the comics or I know there's like certain Teen Titan characters they like made up, and I think this is one of them because I feel like he's like a filler character for the most part. He's one of them characters that like comes on when the Japanese song starts hitting. But yeah. So I'm doing the villains. So last week I did Blackfire, and I was a bit like self-conscious about this one when I drew it, but like looking back at it, I think I did a really good job. And then obviously, let me go ahead and just show off all the Teen Titans. I have Robin without like his mouth. Give me a sec. There we go. Just so y'all can see what I'm working with. I also do I have my no, I do not. But yeah, Robin right here. And then we got Cyborg, Raven, and then I did Starfire and I did Beast Boy. So the Titans are done. I just have to do 5 villains. And what I'm trying to do with the villains is I'm trying to how I put this. I'm trying to have a villain for each character. So like Blackfire to Starfire, Control Freak to maybe like Cyborg. For Raven, I'm spoiler alert, I'm probably gonna do Trigon next week. And then for Beast Boy, probably gonna do Terra. And for Robin, you can you can guess the main antagonist for the main character. So that'll be the last one I do. I'll save him for last. But this week we're gonna be doing Control Freak. So let me see. Let me take the stream starting soon down. Cause I always forget when I put like the stream starting soon and like the be right back and the out to lunch. I always forget to take them down. So let's see. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I'll leave this here just as a reference so I can like look at them. But I'm gonna start a new file. Okay. And as always, we're gonna go just for consistency at this point. Um 1080 by 1350 resolution. And that's basically like an 8 by 10 size, if I'm not mistaken. And the reason I do it at 8 by 10 is because that's what I'm comfortable drawing at. I feel like that's a really good size for character drawings. 9 by 12 is a pretty good one too, especially since it's, I want to say, same proportions as an 18 by 24, but either or, I like to have it a little bit wider, right? Like space to work with rather than it being vertical. Even though I'm drawing vertical human beings, so I'm gonna whip out my handy dandy pen and just go ahead and get started. And before I do, I always want to go to file and then time lapse, record time lapse. I'm on Clip Studio. It might be slightly different depending on the software you use. But the reason what was I finna say? The reason I start off with like the time lapse is because like if you're in the middle of the drawing, the time lapse only records from where you start drawing. So if you start drawing like halfway through, it's only gonna get half the process. So be sure, and you can't like mitigate that, or you just got to remember to do it in the middle of the drawing. You can't undo everything, start recording, and redo it. It ain't gonna work like that because it doesn't track your movements. It just sees what's on the page. So I got that, and I got my canvas, and got my handy dandy sketchbook next to me. I'm really talking and stalling for time till I like. Okay, so the interesting thing about Control Freak is just how much they put into the design. And this one I'm gonna like because for say Robin, Cyborg, Raven, Beast Boy, Starfire, Blackfire, they're all kind of these teen. Okay, I'm tripping. They're all they're all these like teenagers, pretty much, or very young adults. You know, to close to that kind of age range. Control Freak looks like he could be anywhere between late 20s to early, like any like late 20s up to like any middle age range. And I think that's one important thing to it. Let's go ahead and start drawing. I'm gonna try to get his head in like this kind of almost potato shape. And I want potato, like a potato, to be a reoccurring theme. Because Raven literally calls him a couch potato. I have a little bit more prep time with this one because I like actually watched some clips before the stream so I can like see just how he fights, how he moves. You don't want to just go in and not have any basis on how you're gonna do the character. You want to warm up, you want to do preliminary sketches, which I do plan to start uploading my preliminary sketches onto Patreon. So if you guys would like to see that, it'll probably be exclusive to Patreon because I don't feel like uploading them to anything else, and I need some exclusives on Patreon. So, but yeah, he's like described by Raven as like a couch potato, and he's fat. He's fat, and I think that's another reason I kind of want to draw him because not only do I not have I not drawn any fat characters yet, I don't know that I've drawn too many fat characters in my lifetime. There's especially like when it comes to superheroes, you don't see too many fat characters. And usually like not to say that there aren't fat superheroes, but you wouldn't like they're very some of them are very niche. Some people like to put characters that say look like them and they might be fat, but and they put it out and a lot of the time when you do like self inserts the story doesn't go too well. So some of them aren't popular for that reason. What was the point I was trying to make with that? But and also superheroes are very active. So you don't really you wouldn't really see a fat superhero because they're usually like these kind of Greek god kind of physiques that they have. Even somebody like Spider-Man is usually like a svelte kind of athletic physique. But to have like a fat and he isn't a superhero, so that's one thing. But even when it comes to super villains, you don't see too many fat super villains because usually they have to keep up with the heroes. So the fact that he's fat is already interesting, but he's outside of him being fat, he's not on paper visually appealing. Like he has a he's obviously clearly made to be kind of unattractive, but there's so much put into it that makes it a much more interesting design. Like he's got like this kind of thinning, receding hairline, especially like depending on where they draw it at. He's got a unibrow. He's got these sideburns. I would call these freckles, but they're probably more akin to acne because they're not like on the same part of his face. They're like different parts of his face. So it's probably acne. And I think it would be cooler if it was acne. So I think I'll put it as acne when I draw it. I think he's got some chest hair. He's got like a double chin. He's got no neck. It just his face alone has so much personality and character to it, and he still comes off as like this cool character despite just like not looking appealing. It's he's got like these dark spots under his eye, the stress lines, very telltale signs of like a middle-aged man or like a nerd that doesn't leave the house. He's very nerdy, and his fit is very Star Wars esque. He's got like this sci-fi aesthetic to him. I'm gonna try to capture all of that within this drawing. So yeah, potato kind of shaped head, and we're gonna try to map out like where the eyes and stuff are gonna be. So with his eyes, I need to have one. I need there to be a unibrow, right? And I'll just draw the line for right now. But I also need the unibrow to kind of go over the eyes. So I could make round eyes, right? Completely round. But then there becomes an issue of, say, and I'm going to try to, let me see how I want to do this. Let me get this unibrow and I'm going to put it in a layer so I can like explain why I don't want to do it like this. I'm going to take that, control X, Control V, and then it's in they're now they're in two separate layers, right? If I go and do the eye, because you gotta keep in mind these are for the purpose of animating. That's how I've been getting my views this week. So I have it a completely round eyeball, right? And then I draw the unibrow. You know, I'll even fill it in a little bit so I can really further get this point across. But we have the unibrow. And now if I move the unibrow up, it's a big eye, and that's interesting. However, when I move it down, it'll go past the eyeball. So that makes it less expressive. So what I want to do, or not less expressive, but that makes it harder to, I think you know what I mean. So give me a sec. Let me erase and delete all this. And then I'm going to combine it all, Control E. But let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same like eye on the other side. I'm gonna make them rounded, but I'm also gonna like make them this kind of almost crescent kind of shape. Make it kind of triangular. So they're like rounded, but they're also I don't know how to I don't know how to describe it, but something like that. And I like how close they are in like proximity to one another because let me see. Oh, I got a follower on Twitch. Awesome. But yeah, let me draw the nose. Let me see. He kind of looks like if Chewbacca was a human. I honestly, looking at him, he does look like a big like orangutan, like with the red hair, and then him being like kind of large, like the way his hair is made, he kind of looks like an animalistic kind of. I don't even know how to describe it, but he is a very interesting looking character. And I think that's like one of the reasons I wanted to draw him, outside of him just being this kind of goofy villain. Because he looks so drastically different from everybody else I've drawn so far. Let me see. I'm gonna go for the mouth. I'm gonna give him like a little grin. Matter of fact, I'll try to give him the same little cocky grin he has like right here. It's a bit wider. Let's bring it out a little bit. Yeah, thanks for popping up to the stream though. Hopefully we get like some more people in here, but I do these like every Saturday. Yeah, I think that looks halfway decent. Well, we can always change it later. I'm gonna bring his normal chin over here, and then I'm gonna try to like reinforce that double chin under it. Think that's kind of looking all right. Then I kind of want to, let me see, give like a few strands up here for like that kind of receding hairline he's got. And you can't forget like the stress line right on top. So the face is getting there. There's a few other things that I want to do because he's got, like I said, these could either be freckles or acne, but I think it would fit the character more if it was acne. So I'm gonna give him like a little. Oh my gosh, bro! He looks like he does not leave his freaking room. That is hilarious. But yeah, despite him being a bigger dude and like this kind of nerdy character, he's very active in the show. Like you can see him like dancing around and spinning and styling on the Titans. It's so funny. It's like so funny. But I think we kind of captured the face decently. All right, so we're gonna move the face a bit and just draw the body. Let me shrink the face so I can get the body down a little bit better. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Let's see, I got my sketches. So his stomach is just straight round. So we gotta try to capture that. And then he pretty much has like no neck. It's like it's the head and then it's just the rest of his body. So let's see how we're gonna do that. I let's just start it like this for right now. Sometimes you gotta like go for it. You can't just wait around and just try to contemplate what you're gonna do. Um, and also he's got like these shoulder pads on his outfit. His outfit is actually really sick, in my opinion. It almost like the pads kind of remind me of like Saiyan armor. And anything dealing with that, like you could see what I did with like Blackfire, how I kind of gave her these little pads on the shoulders, even though she didn't have that in the show. Some of this is just gonna be like artistic liberty, and I'm gonna change it around a bit. But yeah, let me see. I want there to be a little bit of space so he can kind of have somewhat of a neck right here, but it'll all really just kind of connect to his head. Let me see. I want everything to kind of come down in this top portion, almost like a robe, like a so like make a triangle shape if that makes sense. Let me see. I want to have some room to see his chest, so you could see like the little chest hair he has. That makes him look cool too. The little chest hair. It's all giving like this kind of nerdy gamer like I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. I feel like there's a perfect word for it that's like eluding me right now. But yeah, so far so good. Let me see. Actually, because I forgot with the eyes, I kind of want to mark out that there's gonna be like some dark spots under them, and that'll make him look a bit more unhealthy, but also like villainous. That there's like these dark spots under his eyes, and it's kind of like a big part of his face, right? We gotta lock in the face. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so we kind of have like this triangle. Let me see. I put that in the wrong layer. We have like these triangle shapes going down to here, right? Let's just map that out right quick. And then we're going to just make this round circle. We don't want to make it too big, but we kind of want this like round part, like this kind of pot belly. And then we'll try to bring both of those shapes together. Let me see how I want to do this. Let's bring it out and in like that. There we go. And then we'll have like a little line up here to like connect the stomach to the chest and kind of have like a fold there. That's halfway decent so far. Again, we're gonna have to like redraw this a few times, but I think it looks solid. I think it looks solid. So let me see. We got the head, and then we got a part of the body. One thing I did forget about the head, though, he's kind of got like the sideburns, and I completely forgot to put the sideburns in. And I gotta like remember the blemishes on his face, but I should before we get done here. So, oh my gosh, dude, he's so funny looking. Okay. Oh man, I love this guy. All right, so we're gonna continue with the rest of the body, and he's kind of got like this jacket, and then I'm looking at the comment again when I don't know, bro, it's still here, but when he's like Chewbacca looks like I mean, no, he looks like Chewbacca but human. He's got a very Star Wars esque design, and is most likely to reference is most likely referencing Star Wars for one. He's got almost like these Jedi robes as his like undershirt. Um, where was I going with that? And he even fights with like these little lightsaber esque weapons. So a kind of Wookiee esque Jedi might have been something that they were going for with this design. It's definitely Star Wars inspired though, and probably a few other things, but the most glaring one is like Star Wars. So let me see. This stream probably won't be. It'll be relatively long because it's probably gonna be about 5 hours. But last week's was pretty quick. It might have been like 4 hours last week. You know, it takes time to draw these things. Let me see. Okay, so let me see how it is in this. I'd say proportionate to like the part of his torso that's shown. These are about like half the size of this, if that makes sense. So trying to see how I want to explain this. We're basically gonna have it come in a little bit more. Because even though this makes him look bigger, one, we don't want him to look too big. Because even though he is definitely overweight, he is also an active character. All right, yeah, we're gonna thin that out a bit, and he does look a bit slimmer, but he still manages to look overweight. He's fat, so that's not a dig at any fat people or anything like that. If you heard me in my other streams, I was like, I really want to draw a fat character because I don't get to draw too many fat characters. And not to be all, too super progressive or anything like that, but I do think representation matters. And you can hear me talk about a lot like that when I draw like black characters and stuff like that. It's cool to not have everybody look the same, and he looks so drastically different from the other Titan characters. Like if you saw him normally, you would think he's just a cosplayer and not a superhero. And I think that adds to the vibe of him. Okay, I probably should have. Okay, when I draw this the next time, I'm gonna have to separate the body because I'm trying to draw like the overcoat and the dang, what was I thinking? The overcoat and the body in the same layer, and that is just not working right now. So yeah, that's pretty much the first little rough sketch of the torso. Let me try to hammer in some other parts of it. He's got like this little sash with some sort of weapons on them. And I honestly cannot tell you what these are, but what I do know is that he's got the one weapon. So what I can do, I can either make these little because they're kind of like these little holsters. They hold something in place. I don't know what they're called when you have like the bullets or whatever on them. Because I've seen some characters have like little like bullet type things along a sash here. But I have no idea what his is. That for all I know, it could be like freaking game cartridges or something. But I think it would be cool if they had almost like these lightsaber esque things on them. Give me a second. I'm trying to see if I can look up how his weapon actually looks. Control freak. Uh, I meant to like do a bit more research on. Oh, also, matter of fact, I could just put all of his weapons on here because I know he's got the remote. The remote would be pretty cool to draw on here, but I also want to get that lightsaber. Give me one sec. There ain't nobody watching the stream anyway. Um, dang, I'm trying to. Oh, one other part of him that you can't really see on like here. He's got like this ponytail, and it's very similar to the ponytail that the Jedi have. Like the if you can remember that back ponytail that Obi-Wan and Anakin had in like some of the earlier movies, it's very similar to that. Like I said, it's a very Star Wars inspired design. So he's pretty much a fat Jedi. That's basically what this character is. Um, and the cool thing about him, I keep describing him as like he's got a car. Every character's got a car in Teen Titans. It's really crazy. But uh he's a very quirky, kind of goofy character for one. And he's got the remote is his main thing. So he'll like alter reality with his little remote or whatever it is. And that's actually really cool. Dang, I'm trying my best to look up like his actual weapons. If this takes two, okay, see, I see it here. Control Freaks remote. Robin's utility belt. There's a lot on here. So let me start a new layer right quick. And I'll probably change how this looks, but I do want to try to put something resembling a remote right here. Okay, I might be doing too much. But I think that looks halfway decent actually. All right, so give me a sec. Um Uh, this is why you do more prep work before the thing actually starts. Anyway, let me continue with the little robe torso thing. So he's got like these little pads on here. I they're not metallic. They look metallic, but they're not metallic. They're just like little pads on the jacket. I don't know if they're patches like his how do I want to put this? I don't know if they're patches like when you fix up a jacket or something, how you'll have like patches on it, but they're on there. I don't know why they're on there or what they're for, but they look cool. So we'll keep that. And then we'll try to draw we'll like shape them out on the other parts of the jacket so I know they're there. I might just have them as like pockets or something. I think that'll be more interesting. But yeah, and then I'll kind of like give a little bit more shape to his stomach. I don't know if I like it completely round or if I like because usually, if you're that big, your stomach will kind of like fold in a little bit towards that belly button. Like it'll kind of pinch in the middle. But I do like how round his stomach is. It feels more cartoony. So I'll leave that in. Okay. So we got the head, we got the like beginnings of the torso or whatever. Oh, also before I continue, because his jacket, I've drawn that, but I want to draw like he's got gloves too. He's got a really unique design, and I think everything works really well. It's almost over designed, honestly. Like you could tell they put a lot into him to make this nerdy sci-fi inspired character, and I really love it. I'm not gonna lie to you. We don't want to get too complicated with the hand. Um, but I will show you like with Robin, this is the first one I drew. I pretty much had like these nubs as hands, and I think it works. They're almost like clenched fists. And then would say like Beast Boy, it's actually a clenched fist. So and where else? Cyborg again, clenched fist. Raven is like an open hand. Starfire is an open hand. I don't think Control Freak needs a clenched fist, especially since he's usually holding something like a weapon. I mean, so is Robin, but Robin also punches people. Cyborg usually blasts people, but I didn't draw him with a blaster. And Beast Boy usually transforms, but if he's not transforming, he usually doesn't fight with weapons. So clenched fist for him too. But this character, I feel like an open hand would be a bit better. And I don't like how I drew that, but I know it's a sketch, but I'm gonna like bring it down a little bit more. And I have to keep in mind too, he's got like these open, like fingerless gloves, which I'm a sucker for fingerless gloves. I think they're like the coolest thing, especially with like fictional characters. In a lot of fiction, though, they will be impractical because there's no point in an open glove in a lot of scenarios. I have an open glove technically right now to draw, but it's like to support. Like half of it is like closed, and then there's like two fingers open. Let me stop talking. Like I feel like I'm doing absolutely too much. But we're just gonna put that there. I'll probably clean up his hands a little bit as we go along. But again, matter of fact, let me see if I could draw it better on the left hand. I feel like I'm doing just as bad. Let's see. Kind of like that. I want to draw the thumb pretty well. Hand coming down. Something like that. Maybe. I feel like that's definitely a better hand. Again, I could fix it as we go along. Let me just grab it and move it up a bit. So yeah, a very complicated drawing, complicated character design, but I think it's looking good so far. Okay, so let's see how I want to do the rest. So we got this all in one folder. I'm gonna select this folder and just shrink it a bit more so we can do the legs. And I want to make it as small, not as small as possible, but small enough so that I can draw the legs without it being cramped. You ever like write a sentence and you getting close to the end of the page and you don't know if you have enough space and then you don't, and so you like smush everything? That's what usually happens to me when I'm drawing and I don't have enough space. Now, fortunately, with like a digital workspace, I can kind of collapse it as much as I need to. But sometimes I'll be like, oh, I got the space, and then I don't, and then it just looks stupid. So let's start with the legs. Trying to see how I want to do the dang legs. I'm gonna do a new layer, and let's see. I'm gonna just start. Um, there's a few interesting things I could do with this, cause he's got some. I guess they're genes. They're very. I'm trying to see how I want to explain this. First off, let's go directly under the stomach because he's got like a belt, and then the belt will wrap around and like bring his stomach in. I like how the belt is almost like coming forward a little bit, like in terms of perspective. Might keep that. Um, and we're gonna draw his little like his crotch a little bit further down. We could do it like his I trying to figure out how I want to do this. You know how some people have like their stomach go into their pants? Like we could do that for him in some sort of way. Again, I don't draw too many fat people, so like I that I genuinely don't know how to do that. uh this is why it's good to draw different characters. That makes you that it'll make you that much better with human anatomy too. Before I proceed, let me control S to save this. And let me I didn't even put a folder for this guy. Also, if I say something insensitive to any fat people, I'm sorry. Like I swear I'm not trying to. But hold on, I gotta like start a new folder for this guy. Yeah, I got a folder named Streams, and I'm gonna start a new folder in that and label it Control Freak. Oh wait, no, I already had. Oh my gosh, I made two folders for no reason. Okay. No. All right. Oh my gosh. My bad. Technical difficulties. Okay. So now we have it saved. You're gonna want to save frequently, especially when you have the time lapse on, because it'll like how do I put this? It takes up more space, and if you don't save, it could easily crash. And depending on the software you're using, you will not be able to recover it. But we're going to just kind of go with I say go with, but we're gonna round out the pants a little bit. I think I want his hips to be a bit wide. I think. Yeah, let's kind of bring in the stomach to the pants. I think that'll be a little bit interesting actually. And then for the legs, see how I want to do this. They kind of he has like these kind of cartoony legs, so they'll like be thicker on one side and then kind of come in like the center. And I'm gonna try my best to draw that. Yeah, we'll kind of and then just like round it out. Again, this is like a rough sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get like the basic form of the character. For any artists out there, that is a good thing to learn. If you draw like basic form and not get in your head about like fine details when you first start, that's gonna help you a lot. Okay, so I think the legs are a little bit long, and I think we can afford to bring that the gut slash waist down a little bit more. And his shoes, I genuinely don't know what's going on with his shoes. I don't know what kind of shoe because like they aren't like normal boots or anything like that. They kind of come in like down here, and then how do I explain this? There's like these almost wrappings on them, and then they kind of turn into boots, and there's like no real cutoff point. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll have them as like shoes, but I think I'll have them as like maybe wrappings at the same. It's gonna be difficult. This is gonna be very difficult. I think I didn't draw the crotch low enough, but again, this is like things we can fix up as we go. Yeah, we're just gonna bring those shoes out, round them out a bit. And it looks halfway decent, I think. So, basic form of the character. Give me a sec. I'm gonna see if I can look up his little lightsaber weapon because I think that would be pretty cool on his little sash. Let's see. Sorry, I hate like looking up stuff in the middle of the stream because then I'll go like quiet. But yeah, he's got like this very interesting lightsaber type thing. It's almost like a TV antenna, really. It's funny. It's on r slash top character designs. That's pretty sick. Okay, so I'm gonna try to make one little slot for the remote. I'm gonna try to make one slot for like the saber thing. Let me not put this in that same layer. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put it like I don't even know if I can make that fit in. Let me see. I feel like that would be better along his back than anything. It might be what I do actually. Cause nah, yeah, that's not gonna really fit on that sash like that, or it won't make sense on that sash. So since we got the hair going one way, let's put the weapon another way. So, and it's a pretty big, yeah, this is a huge weapon too. Let's draw it out. In fact, hold on. I got an idea. Let's lower the transparency. So if like people come in, they can see that I at least drew this thing and it won't be like, oh, where's the drawing? Um, and we're going to just start a new layer and I kind of want to just do this design. Yeah, we're just gonna go along. I don't know how long this is supposed to be, but I can always extend it later. This is the first time I actually drew a character with a weapon, so that's interesting. I don't know if I should really put these little. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Let me have this go a little bit bigger over here. And again, this is basically a lightsaber. It's not a lightsaber, but it's heavily inspired by a lightsaber. Pretty cool one at that. Like for like the Darth Maul like dual saber, it's already pretty cool. But his has like two on them. I can't think of another lightsaber. Like I know what's his name? Fake Vader. Vader Jr. Vader's grandson. Oh, there go the bots. Um, dang, Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren has like the cross saber, but this dude's got like this almost like TV antenna lightsaber thing, and it's really cool. Again, it's not an actual lightsaber because he's not actually a Star Wars character, but it very much resembles a lightsaber. So I at least want to give him that kind of weapon. Uh, let's see. Let's bring this down a bit. And I don't want to like completely just draw it um like perfectly right now. I just want to get the shit. Matter of fact, hold on. I don't even need to draw like the saber portion right now. I just need to draw the hilt. So I'm gonna duplicate this, edit, transform, flip horizontal, no, flip vertically. And then look, it's got a top and a bottom now. And if I wanted to extend it, I could just like bring it down a little bit, which I think it does need to be extended a bit, maybe like right there. I'm gonna put it in a folder and then I'm gonna like put it behind him. And let me see if I duplicate this folder. Wait, time out. Okay, I didn't put them in the folder. But yeah, if I duplicate this folder, let's see, and I can just like rotate it, which I didn't need to duplicate it to rotate it, but you know, I could put this weapon in his hand, right? It's all a sketch right now, but now he's got the weapon. And then if I wanted to animate it, I could have like the little laser saber thing come out, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think I definitely made this weapon a little too long. I feel like it should be about the length of his arms. So yeah, let me delete this folder right quick. Turn this layer back on. It's about arm's length, but let me just bring it in a little bit. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more. About there. Let's leave it like that for right now. And again, if I need to change it later, I can always change it. So, let's see. I'm gonna duplicate this again because once I tilt it, it's not gonna be straight again. And then I'm gonna transform and rotate this, and I'm gonna just have it like behind him, like an actual weapon. And now I think that makes his design a little bit more interesting. Now, let's see. It's gonna be weird because you can still see it behind him. Yeah, let's lower the opacity of it a bit, and then yeah, I think that works. I think that works. Let's Control S and save this. But yeah, I think the only thing I don't quite like right now, well, the legs seem kind of like they're supposed. I feel like the gut isn't hanging down far enough. I don't know. I don't know, bruh. But let's lower the transparency, and we're gonna start again and just kind of trace over what we done already made, and just make a few more confident brush strokes, I guess. So let's go back to the face. And like I said, with the eyes, we're gonna start with the eyes so I can draw the unibrow over the eyes. We're long brush, Derek. Okay, we're gonna go with like a size 6. We're just kinda gonna do the eyes. And I don't want the eyes to arch too much. Let's because most people's eyes aren't gonna go down at that steep of an angle. Maybe even give him a little bit of lashes there. Maybe not too long of lashes. Have his eyes go down a little bit. And let's go for like bags, like kind of like that. I think that looks halfway decent. Let me see for the nose. How did I draw this nose? We kind of have like a upward nose, if that makes sense. Draw a few nostrils, almost like a pig snout. How about that? Let's try that again. Yeah, I think the wide nose works a little bit. Let me just give him a few like nostrils right here. Something like that. I feel like that's halfway decent. Let's draw the pupil right here. Actually, I'm gonna need to draw the pupil like this because then I can like make the pupil go up when I like animate or whatever. I might need to make the pupil a bit bigger too, but we're getting somewhere with this. Let's see. Let's do the other eye. And I could copy and paste it, but I like to draw it twice just so I can get a good feel for it and confirm if I like how I drew it the first time, if it looks similar enough. And also that gives me two different eyes to work with because if I don't like one over the other, I can just use the opposite eye. something like that. Let's try to give him that kind of sharp edge to the eye. Those little bags. All right, yeah, I think that's halfway decent. We're getting somewhere. I think this needs to be a bit more rounded. It looks very anime-esque, which actually I do kind of like that. I don't know if I want to go with it, but also two different eyes could be interesting. I don't think I want to go with it though, especially since I didn't do it for the rest of the Teen Titans drawings. But let's go ahead and do the unibrow. And matter of fact, with the unibrow, let's draw two separate eyebrows and then connect them because that's really what a unibrow is. It's you don't really have like one long eyebrow for the most part. It's an eyebrow and then there's like some hair in between rather than one long unibrow. I know it's a cartoon, but especially like for animation's sake, is I need to think of it as two eyebrows that are connected in the middle, which might seem like the exact same thing, but it's a little different. We're gonna go ahead and do this stress line. We're gonna have it have like a little dip so it's not like a straight line, give it a bit of realism there. Um let's see, we're gonna kind of round out the cheeks a bit so it's not like going straight. Give some depth to the cheeks. And again, we're gonna try to keep that thinning hairline. You know what I mean? He does not have to be the most attractive looking character because he's really not supposed to be the most attractive looking character. And then we'll give him that grin again. Just kind of try to change it up a little bit. Draw his normal chin, and then we'll do that little double chin under it. And he doesn't really have any chin hair. Like his chin is actually pretty smooth. His like cheeks have like the little sideburns on it, but his actual chin is like baby smooth pretty much. So yeah, let's try to get these chops in. I think I like how I drew it on the right side better. Okay, okay. All right, let me look at this, right? So he doesn't really have bangs or like these little like front locks like Starfire and Blackfire do. He's got like long hair that just goes in front like it he's just got some hair that goes in the front if that makes sense. So I might not even draw a front part to his hair. I could. I don't think I want to. So I might have it all go behind his face if that makes sense. Let's try that right quick. Let's bring in the face. And I also do want to kind of map out the acne or whatever. Yeah, it also kind of gives it's kind of giving not 5 o'clock shadow, but like stubble or something like that. I know I said his face is smooth, but I don't know. I don't want to draw it along his forehead. I think it's better if it's just along his face because that I don't want to deviate too far from the original design. But yeah, let's draw these ears. I did like some hand stretches before I started this, like, and it felt so good. Like I can feel my hand, like there's like some discomfort, but like the freaking hand exercises I did really help. And the top of his head is just kind of smooth. I know I went very off topic just then, but yeah, the top of his head is pretty smooth. And yeah, we kind of have like the back of the hair. Don't know if I want to draw a front of the hair, but I feel like it would be better if I did the front of the hair. It sounds like more animation later on, and I hate to sound lazy, but he does have a ponytail, so that could also I don't even know how to explain. I genuinely don't. My brain is like it just didn't work right there. How you know what? You know what? You know what? While I'm doing this, let me start a new layer and actually just no pun intended, but lock in that ponytail. So I'm gonna just kind of draw it like the top of it like right here, right? And then I'm gonna have it come in like here-ish. There's like a band that connects it. Okay, and then I'm gonna draw like that kind of brush, like end of the ponytail, if that makes sense. Something like that, you know. You have it kind of. Let's control T this and see how that looks. Let's lower the yeah, apply transformation. Let's lower the transparency on it a bit. I think that looks good actually because it kind of goes with where it was. It's mm, the only thing I don't like is that it's technically like right here, so I'll probably just have it extend a little bit further upward. But I do like that it's there, and I also like that it has some balance because you got the ponytail here, then you got the weapon here. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. So, ooh, let me stretch a bit. We're gonna control S and save that, and then we're gonna like continue with the rest. Okay, so like I said, he's got the before I do this actually, let me I'm gonna start a hold on, what did I put these on? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm assuming this is the ponytail. Yeah, that's the ponytail. That's the face. Okay. I meant to put this in a new folder and I don't think I did. So just bear with me for a second. Okay, that's in a new layer or folder, whatever. And we're going to start a new layer. Something about the body to the legs I'm genuinely not liking, but again, we'll trace over it. Okay. Genuinely trying to figure out how I want to do this. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get my ruler, my symmetry ruler. I'm gonna go right at this 540. Bring out this guide so I can know where to put the symmetry ruler. If I can keep my freaking hand straight. Okay, and then I'm going to yeah, I'm as close as I possibly can, and I'm gonna try to go like right. That's not right. Right on that center point, and now I have a line of symmetry. So I'm gonna okay. Now that I can see where everything is centered, yeah, that's the weapon. Okay, yeah, I'm going to move him. Actually, I'm gonna just move the face. Can I just move the face? Let me see this. No, yeah, that's all on. Freak. I'm trying to see how I want to do this. All right, let's just move everything over for right now. All right, so now the face is centered, and the leg is off center, but if the leg is the only thing off center that I have to worry about, then that's completely fine. You move the face over ever so slightly. I'm just trying to get it as perfectly centered as possible. And I could have turned on the symmetry ruler or whatever to draw it, but I felt like that was kind of a cop out. You know what I mean? People aren't 100% symmetrical. I say this in every live stream, but it is what I. It's why I do what I do, if that makes sense. So this is the same layer with the head. I'm just gonna I'm gonna draw the hair going down. I don't remember if they showed how long his hair is. I guess it doesn't matter too much. It kind of goes along his back though. Oh, well, the symmetry's on. That's great. Didn't mean to do that, but matter of fact, wait a minute. That's interesting. Because if I turn off this guide, then yeah, now it's okay. That's interesting. But yeah, that's the hair and everything. Let's. How do I want to do this? Yeah, let's turn the rest of the body down a bit more. Maybe like right there. Think that'll be fine. It's gonna be a huge pain to actually outline. I can already tell. And I'm getting tired already. Let's not start complaining though. Let's see what we got here. So we're gonna go in that same folder where we started the other outline. And I guess I can lower the opacity of the face for right now. We're gonna go. Let me turn my guide back on. Ooh, my neck. Okay. How do I want to do this? I'm gonna turn my symmetry off and just keep the guide. And I think how do I want to do this? Like I say he has no neck, but everybody has a neck. So I'm gonna I'm genuinely trying to see how I want to do this. I'm gonna like bring it up and around a bit and then just like bring it back if that makes sense. All right, so now we have like a little bit of a neck going right here. It's really just it's like the thickest neck I've drawn thus far. Yeah, something like that. I'll probably have the bottom still be kind of maybe black or something like that for like the outline of the neck, but again, like I said, he's got like one of them no necks if that makes sense. Oh, I drew it all in the same thing. I mean, that's fine. Uh, I'm trying to think how I want to do the rest of this. I guess I'll just draw it all in the same thing. So, let's see. Let me look at him again. It's kind of weird how his thing goes in right here, if that makes sense, because it's almost like it's folded, and then this overlaps here, it overlaps here. I don't know how that works, but we're just gonna try our best to draw it. Uh, this might not be fun. I'm not like it was all fun and games until it got complicated. But let's keep going though. It's again so far so good. I'm gonna try to keep like see his hair is over the. Whoa! What happened? Oh, okay. My computer's being weird. I was like, what the heck happened? Okay, so I'm gonna have these parts wrap around. I'm gonna do my own thing here because this is kind of complicated. I hate that it's doing that. I don't know why it's doing that, but I genuinely hate it. Okay, so his stomach portion is kind of weird. This is difficult. This is actually genuinely difficult. Let's all right, let's establish that the gut starts like right here, okay? We'll bring that down. See, that don't make no sense though, because if this is the chest, right? If the chest goes to about here, see the hair is throwing me off now. Let me go back. I really should have drawn these in separate layers, but it's whatever. So let me do a new layer, and let's say this is gonna be tough. Hold on a sec. Okay. This is rough. Okay, let's go from like right here to right here. I think that'll be a better like that I feel like that fits better for where the gut should be. And I feel like the gut should I don't know, I feel like the gut's kind of long. Like I feel like it should stop like I mean maybe not. Especially if like I said his gut truly ends like down here. How about we try to work with that actually? Let's say like his groin kind of ends down here, but like the gut ends like right here, if that makes I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how that works. But whatever. Let's leave it like that for right now. Cause I genuinely have to like figure out where to map out the rest of his body. So let's say this goes up like right here-ish. One thing about this is that it's off center. That's one thing that's kind of bothering me. That's a bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look up images of big girls for this one. Like that's definitely what's gonna help me with this. It could have been a big dude, but I don't know. I feel like okay, so hmm, trying to think of how I want to do this. Let's hit erase and just like go back and erase some of this because it is not adding up for me. I really want to like get this fat dude right. Like I want to have successfully drawn a big person. So let's kind of round out this bottom part. And we might even be able to bring it down a little bit. Yeah. Like maybe right there. Okay. Control D. And let's say that I don't know, the stomach ends like right around oof. Say I want the stomach to end like somewhere around there, right? Okay. And then I can have like the oof. This is hard. This is hard. Like the stomach. to like crotch area is like really bugging me because I don't, and it's off centered still. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a good reason to use the symmetry ruler, but whatever. All right, let's tilt that a bit, and then something like that. That might be a little bit better. Maybe not actually. Let's zoom out a bit. I'm trying to see. Oof, this is rough, dude. This is genuinely rough. I'm trying to see how like fat folds around someone's midsection. Uh, it would kind of. It's. I feel like it would all almost be like one solid thing. Like obviously your gut would like hang over your pelvis, but like if you're wearing a certain fit, it would all look like one like round belly up to that point. I'm not fat. I'm not a fat artist, so what I'm saying might be completely inaccurate, but I'm just trying to make sense of it. So let's say that that is how it is, right? Um and then his gut isn't necessarily hanging per se, but it's kind of like it leads into his pants. That's really what I'm trying to go for here. So let's do that. Let's center the belt like kind of right here-ish. I'm probably gonna have to turn on the symmetry ruler for this. Like once I redraw it, but I want to freehand it for right now. This is very difficult. This is so very difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, yeah, because the gut, let's say the gut does hang over, right? Then that means if I drew where the pelvis was supposed to end, then you kind of have it like right here and to right here, if that makes sense. And then that would like kind of start the legs, and then they would overlap. All right, and then you kind of got where the legs come in. Probably gonna have to change this a little bit, but I really should have like had more prep time with this, but whatever. Let me try bigger guys. Let me see what if bigger guys would help me. It's weird because it really depends on how big you are, that like it could drastically change how the drawing will look. I think he's at a decent size. I mean, I guess any size is a decent size depending on who you are and what you're trying to do. I'm definitely drawing this in a weird way. Oh, this is difficult. Let me stop complaining. All right, so I think that looks a little bit better, but it's still not perfect, which I guess nothing's, no drawing's ever perfect per se. But I don't know, there's something I'm trying to achieve that I feel like I'm not achieving right now, which again makes this good practice. All right, I want his pants to kind of slightly puff over these little wrappings. I feel like that'll make it a little bit more interesting. and then the wrappings will kind of lead into the um the shoes, I guess. Something like that, I guess. I guess. Okay, so that's somewhat decent, I guess. That's somewhat decent. I think I'm starting to get where everything needs to be. I'm actually gonna go just copy and paste this leg because I don't feel like trying to oh jeez figure out where oh jeez. It's control X, Z, and then control V. All right, edit transform, flip horizontal. All right, now we've got a leg on both sides. And it'll also kind of show me how off-centered the rest of the body is, which it is quite off-centered. But I think that's a much more convincing fat dude. Okay. Let me I feel like the belly is still hanging a bit far. Let me see. Because if I go in, I think if I just mark like a little line and say that the belly is supposed to end like here-ish and bring that in, and then maybe bring up this line a bit more, or maybe even, well, one, yeah, definitely bring it up a little bit more. I feel like that's gonna help a bit. And then just erase this right here and make it not as wide. That might help. So like almost have it come in straight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That way you can see a little bit more of the belt too. Oh yeah, I think that's way better. I think that's way better. Yeah, you can kind of see where the thighs will kind of end up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that looks halfway decent. Again, I have not drawn too many big people. This is like really one of the because I draw a lot of superheroes. You don't see too many big superheroes that aren't like big in a muscular sense, like the Hulk. Like they're usually I can't even think of too many big characters like that. At least that are like superheroes or something like that. Even in terms of like villains, I can't think of too many, if any. Okay, so I'm gonna try to attempt to connect what I did with the body to the rest of the body, if that makes any sense. Also, I would say I'm gonna move the legs a bit, but I don't know if I necessarily need to. The legs might not be that long, or it might not be long enough though. Like his body's kind of big, and then his legs are just kind of stubby. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but like, just looks off. mm, let's try something right quick, just for craps and giggles. Let's merge these layers, and then I'm gonna wrap this around. All right, let's Control T, edit. I probably didn't even have to Control T, but I'm gonna go free transform so that I can stretch these legs out a bit. I don't know why it only stretched the one leg, but I think I don't know if I like the longer legs or not, in all honesty. Okay, for whatever reason it didn't what did oh, I combined the head. Okay, I see what I did. I see what I did. Let's try this again. Let's Control E, and then we'll wrap that around again. Okay, yeah, wrap this around here, and let's control T, edit transform, free transform, and we'll stretch that out again. And I'm just trying to see how it would look, in all honesty. Yeah, I think the longer legs are definitely. What just happened? Why is this? Oh my God. Oh my God. How does this keep happening? Okay, that's the. Oh, okay, I see what I did. I see what I did. One more time. I'm gonna merge that because I keep merging the same layers. That's what's happening. Let me see. My energy saver is on. Let me plug my laptop back in right quick. Yeah. Oh, I think that might have been the issue that I was having earlier. Okay, so these are one layer now, or they should be. Let me wrap this around. Okay. And then let's hit transform, free transform, and we're just gonna stretch. Yeah, we're gonna stretch these legs out. Let me see how it looks. I hate that this is in the way. It's really bothering me. Okay, yeah, yeah. So see how long we want these legs, maybe about here-ish. I don't know. I kind of like the legs a little bit stubby. Somewhere around here, I think it's fine. So that's the after, before. I feel like the legs definitely needed to be a little bit longer. Uh, mm, but I don't know. This is tough. Maybe I maybe I transform it, but I don't transform it as much, just ever so slightly, like right about there. Because like I said, I do like the um the legs being a little bit longer. I just don't know that I don't think I like them too long. See, that's a very subtle difference. I think that's fine. So we'll leave it like that for right now. If I need to extend the legs, I guess I will. I might not need to though. Okay, so it's roughly centered, sort of, not really. And we got the head down. We pretty much got the body down for the most part. Let's do the arms, because that'll help me do like the actual jacket. So you hit P. Um, yeah, like right about here-ish. Okay, yeah, about there. And then we'll do an arm, say here. Now, I think that can be a little bit further out. Maybe. I don't know. I do feel like I should have drawn it in another layer. Let me restart that actually. Give me one sec. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna just draw that shoulder and have it come out to like here-ish. Increase my brush size a little bit. Yeah, and just kind of connect it up towards here. This is gonna be a pain when I actually have to draw it. But yeah, they don't need to be like big arms or anything like that. I'm not. I'm just gonna leave it the sleeve. I'm not gonna draw his actual arms just for the fact that I can't see me giving him like any alternate outfit or anything like that. And if I ever do, I'll probably just redraw the arm. So let's see. So let's try to draw a hand. And let me draw it without that is not what I meant to do. I'm gonna draw the hand without the glove for right now. And then just kind of round it out a little bit here. See, I feel like I'm drawing the fingers a little too short, I guess. Yeah, let's I think that's a decent size. And we'll just bring that in a bit. And then let's just do the gloves kind of like that. Something like that. Yeah, I think that's decent looking. Yeah. All right, so now we got it flipped. We got his hand. I think that's a decent looking hand. I think his shape is really shaping. I think it's coming together so far. I think the hand needs to be a little bit bigger, and I think the arm needs to like not. I don't even know how to explain this. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Let's check on the stream right quick while I'm doing this. While nobody's really here, I guess I should say. Let's see. Um, let me see. We're an hour in. Well, almost an hour and a half in, actually. Okay. That is not what I meant to do. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. There we go. All right. So let's keep going. I'm going to make this hand a little bit bigger. So Control T and just extend it a little bit. Maybe not even that big. Maybe that big. Okay, Control D. I think that's decent. You definitely want to at least see the hands. Uh, and I don't know if I want to raise this arm a bit more or if I want to just shrink the arm entirely. Let's try to shrink it actually. Or maybe not even shrink it, but just like let's see if I could free transform and just thin it out a bit. That might help. Maybe. I don't know, dog. I feel like the arm is just like too long. Yeah, I feel like that was definitely too long. I like the length of the hand though. Let me get this hand. Control C. Actually, no. Control X and Control V. Now it's in a new layer, and I'm going to shrink the arm. I should definitely label these, but I'm gonna Control T and just shrink this arm a bit. Like maybe right there ish. Not too much. And I'm gonna bring the hand, if that's even the hand. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna bring this hand up. Yeah, I think that's a lot better actually. Let me see. I think that's a little bit better. Something about that was like bothering me. So okay, let's do this. Just fix the arm up a little bit. Kind of get this little patch thingy on there. I think it's a little too low actually. Does he show his arms in this? Yeah. It's about that low, honestly. I guess that works. I guess that works. We'll leave it there for right now. Might raise it up a bit, but that's the arm. I could really just duplicate the arm if I wanted to. I might make the hand a bit bigger, but that's it for the arm. Okay, so give me a sec. I kind of like have to evaluate what I'm gonna do next. Give me one second. I got a few emails from like Restream just then, so okay. Let's. I guess since we have, matter of fact, let me put these into their own folder. Let's duplicate the arm. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Now I almost am thinking the legs are a bit too stubby. I'm not sure. Again, something I can go back and fix, but I think they definitely need a little bit more length to them. It might also just be too far apart, or it might just be a little bit of both. I don't know. I kind of like how he's shaped, though, if I'm being real. It'll definitely be hard to animate it how they are now, though. I don't know. This. Hmm. I'm genuinely trying to like plan out how I'm gonna do this other thing. Now, one thing that I do think I want to do. First off, let me turn off on the light. I'm freaking. Give me a sec. Ooh, this is giving me like more trouble than I anticipated. I knew this was gonna be kind of difficult because he's so drastically different from the rest of like the Titans and half the bad guys. It is actually giving me problems. Okay, so let's see how I want to continue on. Let's see. Hit P. I'm like looking at, I'm trying to like figure out what to do. Let me turn my symmetry back on because I do want, I feel like it's definitely off centered and I don't want it to be completely symmetrical, but I feel like knowing what complete symmetry in this piece would look like would help me tremendously. So I'm gonna go right here. Wrong brush, but that's fine. And then I'm gonna like bring it out a little bit over here. Let's kind of map out, where I'm gonna put some of this stuff at. Yeah, like right about there, I think would work. And it's pretty symmetrical actually in terms of like where the arms are situated at. Let me bring this in over here. Yeah, something like that I think looks pretty sick. And I want to figure out if I'm gonna do this horizontally or vertically. Because it's vertical in the show. I like horizontal better though. Or no, 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 no. It's horizontal in the show, but I like vertically better. So we'll go with that for right now. And that'll kind of give me a good gauge on where everything is supposed to be symmetrically speaking. And now I can build around that. Okay. So while I have this, I kind of want to do the same thing with the jacket. Let's have it go like right here. And then like maybe right about here-ish. I definitely wanted to show off his gut a bit. So it'll probably come in like from here to here. Something like that, maybe. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to draw the arm over like the outer part of the jacket, but that's fine, I guess. All right, so now there's some symmetry there. Good gauge to see where everything's gonna be at. I think this arm on the left is better than this arm on the right, simply because, well, see, that makes him very round. Let me also bring this downward a bit so that it like everything kind of comes in at an angle, if that makes any sense. I think that's much better. I think that's much better. Oh crap. Okay. Now let's plan out our next move. I should have got more snacks. Okay. So now trying to see where I put everything. Let's put this here. This is rough. Okay. So we kind of have a general idea of where the chest and the stomach's gonna be. Um, Again, I want this triangle portion to kind of come meet in this center point, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's the body. That's a little ponytail. I should definitely label these. Okay, now let me stop being scary and actually um go for this. And the symmetry's on. I didn't want the symmetry on. Okay. Um there's a lot going on. Let me see. Let me actually look up Jedi robes for this. I feel like that would help tremendously. Okay, since this is a heavily Jedi inspired design, I'm going to be inspired by the Jedi. So it's like an inverted, well, it's not inverted. The color scheme's slightly different. So it looks like with the Jedi robes, this whole thing would be like white, and then there would be like a brown undershirt and a belt. His is kind of like, I don't know why I left it, but his is kind of like, actually, no, that might actually just be an undershirt. Boy, I'm tripping. This is why you look stuff up. And it's also good to know where things are inspired by. Because if I didn't know about Star Wars, this would have been a pain. So, okay, that helps. That helps tremendously. So I can come over here since it's like a robe, and then I can wrap it around, say like right here, you know? And now this will be the undershirt, and it'll be like a darker tone, if that makes sense. And the rest will be like an actual Jedi robe. Yo, I'm seeing some cosplay for this. It's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, and the weird part though is that it doesn't come in like the rest of the Jedi robe though. It kind of, unless he just like tucked it in, but it kind of, he's got like his like shirt tucked in, so it almost comes. It's so weird because it's like when I want to say when I see it in the show, there's like this midline on it that isn't present here, if that makes sense. Oh, this is a pain because there's so much to like figure out. Hmm, whatever. I'm gonna draw the sash part and just skip some of it. Well, I shouldn't do this in a separate layer. I was gonna do it in a separate layer, but let's go and say the sash comes up to like, I don't even know how it would come up actually. He's got a lot of stuff on. All right, let's just say it comes to like, because this is my drawing, I can do whatever I want. From like right here up to like right here-ish. I feel like it would come in at a different angle, or at least kind of wrap around the stomach a little bit. He's a big boy. Yeah, something like that. Might have to clean it up a bit. Maybe I'm trying to be too intricate on this little cartoon, but hey. Also, I'm curious, do y'all consider Teen Titans a cartoon or an anime? Because I've been like thinking, because a lot of people will be like, anime is not a cartoon, is more serious and stuff half the time, but there are some non-serious anime, and also what about the serious cartoons? So it's like, in my opinion, the heck, no, it's not an anime. Anime is like reserved for Japan animation, but wouldn't that also mean that anime are also technically cartoons? It's like, I don't know. I know there's gonna be one person that like catch me out of context saying that, be like, bro, this dude is stupid. Let me see. All right, so what did I say? I'm gonna make these like pouches for remotes. Like that's his whole thing is the remote. He only has one remote, but this is my version of him, so I'll give him as many remotes as I damn well please. So let's have like three little sections right here. These will be like three remotes. I can't center things to save my dang life. It sucks. Right about there-ish. Control D. Let it P. Okay. And then I'll just have like the remotes come up to like right about here. I'll probably just copy and paste these when I actually do it, but I'm trying to think of how they actually look on him. Okay, see, his is like going downward respective to his belt. I'm gonna have mine go upward. Yeah, now you can have like three different remotes or whatever on his person, his belt, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so most of this is like, or at least most of the first part is kind of done. I just kind of need to figure out how I'm gonna wrap this Jedi robe around him. So give me just a second. Speaking of Jedi, let me know if you guys want to see me draw some Star Wars stuff because I would really love, just absolutely love to draw Star Wars. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, let's see how I want to do this. Freak. Okay, let's try to make this a little bit easier on ourselves. Hmm, how about we have the rope kind of come in at an angle like this, and then just say it comes down in the middle like that. I think that would work pretty well. So now it's kind of giving like it's still kind of giving a robe. I don't know if I don't know that I like that. Uh, honestly, actually, I could have it come up like I had it, but like it'll like meet in the middle behind this band. I think that would work a little bit better. Yeah, yeah, I think that works. I think that's borderline perfect. Okay, so I think that's a solid second step. So let's take a step back and look at this. Let's control S to save. And let me select all these pieces and move them around a bit. Oof, this got to be one of the biggest pains ever. I should have put more of like the references I'm using on here, but I'm mostly referencing my sketches, if that makes sense. So I'm genuinely trying to see how I want to do this. Okay, so I didn't use the symmetry ruler too much, but I did use it enough for me to like tell how symmetrical everything is around that gut. And I'm glad because I need everything to center around that gut. I need somebody to tell me how many times I say gut in this freaking stream, but I think he looks pretty sick. I think the legs are a bit stubby. Matter of fact, how about we try something? How about I select all this, hit Control Transform, and then I'm gonna shrink it about that much, bring him up, and see how I want to do this because I mean, honestly, the legs don't look too bad. I wish I had like a second opinion because I'm like, I kind of like the proportions, but I feel like they ain't right. I don't know. Let me bring in the legs though. Let me see where the. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, let me see something. Okay, so yeah, that's the ponytail. Where's the face? Yeah, I can turn off some of these sketch layers. while I'm at it. This ain't the right thing. Okay, maybe I should turn it back on and just like lower the opacity drastically. In fact, let me just put all this in one layer so I don't get confused and duplicate it. And now I can just move stuff around, I guess. See, that was a bad idea because now I don't. Let me see. That works a bit better. Okay, let me try to move the leg because I feel like this leg in particular is further than I want it to be. So let me just. I feel like it's not gonna do what I wanted to do, but we'll see. Mm, Let's Control D that. Let's see how it looks. Mm, something about the placement of the leg I do like. I don't know if I like it on both legs, but see, I like that as well. The further out it is makes it seem more wide. But I know also, let me try something. Let me hit Control D, deselect, and then I'm gonna grab this other leg, right? And bring it over. Let's see how that works. Oh geez. Okay, so now they're closer to the same distance apart. Let me see, actually. Maybe right about there-ish. I think that works a little bit better, actually. Actually, no, 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 no. Actually, they're actually about the same distance apart. I feel like it's just that this little shadow area of the leg is like impeding my vision. Yeah, they're yeah, if anything, this one is further away. All right, you know what? I'll let that rock. I'll let that rock. I'll just have to remember that when I actually copy them, but okay, fair enough. For the most part, I think that's the outline. Let me just turn this down a bit. There we go. Okay. Stretch a little bit more. Okay. I'm gonna do one more just kind of general sketch to map everything out. We're almost 2 hours into the stream. So we're probably close to like halfway through. This shouldn't take me no more than like 10, 15 minutes. It might take 5. So I'm going to just map everything out one more time, just so I know how I want everything to look. What is going on with these arms? Uh, Oof. I think I see what happened. Give me a sec. Let me lower this a bit. Yeah, that'll help. That'll help a lot, actually. Okay. So this is kind of how our control freak is gonna look. Let me see which eye I like better. That's a decent eye. Oh, geez, that's not what I wanted. Okay, this eye is definitely bigger. This looks more anime and serious. This looks more cartoony. I'm gonna go with the cartoony one just because he's a very goofy character. I don't want him to look too serious. Okay, so with that being said, um, hmm, I'm gonna redo this one more time just so I know where everything is supposed to be, how everything's supposed to look, and be sure I'm 100% confident. You can never sketch enough. I'll put it like that. You can never do too much sketching, I feel like. And before I even do this, let me okay, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. Okay. Let me bring this down and I'm going to enlarge him a bit. So I'm gonna go Control T, bring this up by like let's say 110 maybe. See, he's a little too big for my well, let me see how that looks. Nah, he's about stretching out the page. I don't let's go with like 107. Let's try 107. Okay, okay. Uh, ooh, it's a rough sneeze. Okay, okay. I managed to sneeze and bite my tongue at the same time. That is interesting. I forgot what I was doing. I let me see how this looks on the page compared to the other ones. Yeah, yeah, there's little room. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, so we're gonna, like I said, draw this one more time just so I feel confident about everything. So I'm gonna, go in with the size 5, and I'm not even gonna really map out everything. I'm just gonna, okay, wrong brush, wrong freaking brush. I'm just gonna, just lock in certain parts that I want to say need just to be cleaned up. Get these nostrils in here. Like the smirk. The smirk isn't as important, but sorry, I'm kind of locking in at this point, just kind of dialing in on everything. Make sure we get that chin, the kind of almost anime-esque eyes. Control Freak is very nostalgic for me because I can remember those episodes coming on. It was just so goofy. He was so like unserious, but he was so fun. Let's see. Let's bring that edge of that eyebrow out a little bit. And again, he's got a unibrow. That's something we need to remember. And some people, most artists will know to. Let me see how I put this. My coach used to tell me, like, whenever I was playing basketball, the harder you work at practice is, I say basketball, but it was really band practice and basketball. But the harder you work at practice, the better you'll be in the game. And so you might not think much of doing these sketches, but if your sketches, your line work and everything looks amazing, your final drawing will look even better. Most of the time. Like over 95 times out of 100. That's kind of how it works. So it might be taking me a bit of time to just like hone in on some of these parts, whereas I could have like actually just gone into it normally. But when you're that much more confident about what you want to do, you know what I mean? It's like checking the list versus checking it twice, you know what I mean? That much more secure. And we're gonna get like this little hairline. I I know I said I'm like not trying to like really sketch too heavily, but I do wanna there's a lot of parts that kind of need to be tightened up in here. So I think it looks cool. It's if nothing else, I am having matter of fact, hold on. Let's flip it. Let's flip it. That's what I like to do when I'm sketching because if it look your brain works in two different sides, right? So everything might look good on one side to like one part of your brain, but if you like flip it and it still looks good, then I think, you know, it's I don't even know what to describe it as, but it works. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how to describe that. Yeah, we're gonna get these little blemishes and then do the same under here. Just a few, just a few. Round out these cheeks a bit. And he does look a bit older too. Like if you look at him here, he looks like he can kind of be a kid, but here he looks a bit older. Let's add some darkness under these eyes like we should have, just so I don't forget it later. We kind of did that for Blackfire, but it's not exactly the same. Okay. Let's see. I love this guy's design, man. I really love this guy's design. Let's have a few like ruffles on the hair, like maybe like something like that. Something about it being completely smooth just kind of bothers me. Yeah, I think that's dope. It's got like this kind of egg shape to the head too. I like it. And I'm drawing the ears with you don't actually see the ears to the character, which I might need to keep that actually. Trying to think how I want to do this. Every character doesn't really need ears. I could definitely not draw the ear. See, okay, see, the only thing I don't like about that is that I've drawn the ears on literally every last one of the characters. Okay, Ravens is like covered, but like you still can tell that hers are there. Definitely Cyborg, Robin. So like let's I want his to be behind the ears, I think. I don't know, man. I I'm gonna keep the ears, but I'm gonna have the hair go out a bit further, I guess. I don't know that. I don't. See, if I do that, it'll be harder for me to implement that ponytail, and I do want that ponytail to be seen. I'll just keep the ears. I like the ears. It also makes it feel a bit more cartoony. All right, let's draw that ponytail, and I'll have it come out to like right here-ish, which I don't necessarily have to do, but like, okay, something like that. That'll be interesting to animate. He genuinely looks like a freaking Jedi Master. It's the funny, like a fat Jedi Master. It's funny. Which I was finna say there are no fat Jedi Masters, but I would be completely incorrect because freaking Commander Creel is not the slimmest. If you don't know who Commander Creel is, think Frieza, but in Star Wars. It's genuinely Commander Creel. And when I say Frieza, think racism. Just think sheer slurs being thrown out. Okay, yeah, I got kind of where the chin is gonna end. You get these little chest hairs in right here. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna like kind of map out these shoulder pads. And I ain't trying to get like too in depth right now because I'm just finalizing the sketch. Now I'm trying to think if I want to take a lunch before I outline or after. I usually like to do them after. So I'll probably just keep with that. But it is already 5:07. Ain't nobody here. We'll see. I might test out how I feel about that, but you know what I mean? Just again, just mapping out stuff. I remember that these are like bands. They're not necessarily any metallic portions. So I gotta keep them as such. They're gonna kind of be close to the rest of the material, if that makes sense. We're gonna bring that down. Something like that. Something like that. Do these gloves a bit. Yes, Sirski. Trying to think if I want. This might be more interesting, actually. I don't know how I feel about that. I'll just work with what I know, I guess. Did I draw the wrong hand? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't. I was gonna lose it. The hands are definitely getting more intricate because when you compare this to like these spaded hands, which it fits this one more because it's like a glove on, but still, yeah, he looks wide. Oof. All right, I'm definitely gonna need to fix up this mid region and just like make some really confident marks. And it doesn't have to be symmetrical per se. I just needed to I don't know. I genuinely don't. I'm just talking at this point. Now this part will be metallic, so I gotta keep that in mind. This belt is gonna be hanging on for dear life. But and then the part where the legs connect, like right here, yeah, it'll come up, and then we can have like that roundness along the hips, these kind of wide hips, and that'll work to an extent at least. And we can have the legs come back in at this angle. I decided that I like the shape of them. Eh, something like that. I think for the most part that's pretty nice. Let me clean up these shoes a little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. something like that. I think I like it better the other way I had it. I slightly changed it, but something like that. Yeah, feel me. Okay. Oops. Whoops. Oh, wait. There's something I didn't do. The remotes and things. Let's start with this middle one. All right. So now this come up like this, and then I'll just have this one section right here, and I'll just bring like a little pocket in, and then I will duplicate this and then just move it around. It's as simple as that. And give me a sec. I'm gonna rotate it a little bit. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna rotate it a little bit. And they're kind of gonna center around a little bit, if that makes sense. And do the same with this one. Yeah. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. And it's weird. He's got like remotes in his arsenal. That's weird. Let's see how I want to do this. This one's higher up, so I'll like bring it up a little bit higher and rotate it a bit more. And I think I'll actually draw it based around like how I have it. Let's see, not this one. Control T, and have that a little bit different of an angle, something like that. I think that's straight. I think that's, for the most part, that's straight. I'm gonna have to like slightly change these, but oh, need some looking remotes, I guess. All right. So the last thing I really want to do with this before I like proceed to fully render this is just knock out this road portion so I know where everything goes. Okay, so I need the neck to be, well, I mean, honestly, I guess as long as the neck is above this portion, it doesn't matter where I like map it out to be. So let me merge all of these right quick, new layer, and I'm just gonna, bring this around to here. You know what I mean? Just imply that it's going past the neck and everything. Lock in this part and then this part, have them all kind of connect in that center point. Yeah, something like that. Bring that around. I guess I'll have this like go into it. Also need to like wrap this band around a little bit and maybe like bring it in a little bit more. I'm just kind of trying to contour it to the remotes, I guess. Something like that. I'm gonna bring down this part and I guess that'll be it. And just like bring down this middle part. I think I think that's basically everything. Okay. Okay. I'm going to control S. I could wait or like eat my food right now and then wait to do the outline, but I kind of want to just go ahead and do the outline. That way I can just come back, color, and we'll be good. So give me one sec. Let me just kind of stretch a little bit for right now. Stretch my fingers and everything like that. I like the shape he's got. I like the roundness. He's a big dude. Kind of feels short. I don't know how short slash tall he actually is canonically, but everything working out pretty well so far. Might have to sketch that weapon one more good time, but it's not that important, so I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to. Yeah, I have a solid game plan about how I'm gonna do it too, but I ain't gonna worry about it right now. I'm just gonna stretch a little bit more. Let's see, we're only 2 hours in, really. Okay, the outline shouldn't take me any more than like 15, 30 minutes. So I'll do that, and then I'll probably start on my lunch, and then I'll get to coloring. Okay. 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 My bad. I genuinely needed to stretch a bit. Ugh. I feel like I shouldn't have done all that on stream. But now we can start actually drawing this. So, again, we're working with this, and it deviates a little bit from how he is in the actual Teen Titans show. It's not as stylistic. Actually, it arguably is as stylistic, but we're gonna start off with the head. So I'm going to trying to see which one of these eyes I like better. Oh, it's still flipped. Okay, cool. Let me see. Trying to see something. This eye or this eye? Left or the right? I genuinely don't know. Something is telling me the right eye though. So I'll probably copy that one and then flip it. Okay, so it's kind of stressing me out. How do I want to do this? Let's go with let me start with the eyes. You can't go wrong with starting with the eyes. You really can, but I won't, most likely. And I guess I'll start with a size 10 brush. So cool. Let's do that. I already hate how I did that. I don't know that I like that. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Let's take this one, turn it around. Oh, that shouldn't happen. Let's turn it a little bit. Maybe right there. I don't know that I like that better. Let's leave it like that for right now. And then maybe hit P one more time and just bring it in a bit. And then we will try to bring in, like I said, the bags under his eyes. We'll also I mean, I would do the pupil right now, but I'm gonna just put the pupil in its own separate thingy. That is not what I wanted. Or that. That's a perfect pupil. Okay. I'll probably enlarge it or whatever, but that'll be the eyes right now. Let me label these. All right. And while I'm at it, let me go ahead and duplicate these. So I'm going to Control C, Control V, edit, transform, flip horizontal. Now, yeah, I like that. I like the intensity on his face. It's awesome. Let's see, right about there, I think is fine. Look at him. He looks so dope. This might be one of my favorites. I just from this alone, this might be one of my favorites before we even get done. Okay, so we're getting somewhere with that. So let me label this folder eyes. Okay. Let's see how else I want to do this. I want to do the eyebrow now. It's only fitting. So let me lower the transparency of that layer with the eyes. I might bring the eyes down a little bit, but let's start with a size 8 and see how that goes. It doesn't have to be like perfectly symmetrical. I think it's better if it's not actually. I don't like how I drew that though. And that's almost there. That's almost there, genuinely. How about I start from here, go in, and say stop here. Flip it, go from here, go in. I don't like how I did that. Let's try like this actually. I kind of like that actually. Yeah, it's not symmetrical. It's different on each side. It's almost like he's got this constant, maybe smirk or something like that. I think it fits. All right, cool, cool, cool. Now the only thing with these eyebrows is because I'm trying to think. There is a way that I can do these eyebrows and also have. I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this. I could also have that stress line animate with the eyebrows. It might be what I go for, honestly. I said I was rocking with this eyebrow, but I'm not even entirely sure if I'm rocking with this eyebrow. Let me move it over a bit. That kind of helps, but it kind of doesn't either. I feel like it's too sharp on one end and like not. Let me try something. Let me save the or let me just try a new layer with this actually. And this time I'm gonna go underneath and just bring it around. That's about what I need it to be, honestly. Let's tweak it just a little bit. Maybe like right there-ish. Uh, yeah. Mm. Let's move it up like one notch. I don't like that. Okay, let's try that again actually. Let's take it, grab it, move it up. See, the notch is like way too drastic. It's probably for like the pixel count I have, but like I think that's straight though. I think. Let's try something else. Let's try to move this up at nah no well maybe mm, no I ain't like that. I'm being very nitpicky right now. Let me see something. Let me try to connect these yeah, connect the vector lines. That's good enough. They ain't gotta be perfect. I like it better than the other one, so let's rock with it. Okay, so we got the unibrow. Let me delete this other one. And I'm going to draw the stress line thingy in the same layer. Oh geez, that's not what I wanted. Okay, yeah, let me go back to my pen tool and I'm gonna draw this in the same layer. Do I like how that looks? I mean, it's fine. It ain't the best thing ever, but so when I move this, it should, also move the stress line, which I think is good. But also, it should also, when I animate it, push the stress line up a bit. If not, I could always change that. But yeah, I think that's straight. Let me see something before I proceed. I think it being up a bit also helps. I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah. This looks a bit more serious. Let me do that. Okay, so let me call this Unib. So we got the unibrow, we got the eyes. See what else I gotta do. We I'm gonna go ahead and just put this in its own folders. I know I'm gonna have to. Okay. We got the eyes, got the unibrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the actual face now with the nose and all that. Yada yada woo woo. Oh ooh ooh this might be difficult. This might because I'm trying to think. I need the back of the hair and the top of the head to match, which isn't necessarily an issue, but like it might be an issue. I'm trying to think because I need to think in terms of animation, how the hair is gonna flow. That this top and these like little contours, they all have to be the same thing, but the top of the head is gonna have to be its own separate thing. Yeah, that's not a problem. That's just something that I have to keep in mind more so than anything. But the sideburns are a big issue because they'll have to blend into the top of the head and still flow with. Okay, you know what? I think I got it. I think I know how I'm gonna do this. Let's do the nose first. I think that'll make things easier on me. Let's go to size 7 brush and then just bring it in like so. I think that's too small. So let's do the nostril, do the other nostril. Uh, mm, I think that looks halfway decent. Let me move this. Yeah. All right, let me go back, hit it with this size 8, bring that nose in. Yeah, now he's got like this little wide nostril thing going. Let me get these little blemishes too. Let me go to size 6 and give him like this little acne. Same with this bottom portion. I'll go ahead and give him 3 on the bottom. Something like that. Something like that I think is good. Yeah. I like that. I like that. I like that so much. Okay. Okay. Let's see. What else do we gotta do? I could do the mouth later, actually. Let's go to size 15 and try to do. Ooh, do I want to do that first part right now? Let me get the chops first. Let me go to size 10 and try to get these sideburns. So maybe like right here into right here. Nothing too fancy or complicated. I'm just kind of gonna try to go back over what I had. Think this should come in a little bit more like that. I think that's good. All right. Something like that. And let's lower it by 1. Just bring it in like that. Actually, hold on. Yeah, I like that it's a little bit more ruffled like that. Have it come up a little bit. And yeah. Just bring that up. Don't need the details to be too fine, but and then we're just gonna bring little tips of these like hair strands down. Again, we want to lock in that kind of receding hairline he's got. Even if that's not supposed to be a receding hairline, that's how I take it as. So I'm gonna make it one. It makes it so I feel like that just fits the design so much better for it to be like a receding kind of hairline. We're gonna let me see how I want to do this. Bring this down. Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna do the sideburns on this other side as well. And they don't need to be the cleanest of sideburns. He's supposed to look kind of unkempt, right? He looks like he just got out of his mom's basement or something like that. That's kind of how he's supposed to look. And yeah, we're gonna wrap that around to the rest of his face. Something like that. Oof, let me see something. Let me redraw part of this if I can. Yeah. Like I kind of needed to go past the hair a little bit. I feel like that's pretty straight anyway. So yeah, it can be a little unruly. Yeah, he looks like a straight up Star Wars character. I'm not gonna lie to you, but which is a good thing. He's supposed to, but let me hit my P brush again, go to size 8 and just kind of bring the trying to see how I want to explain this. Bring this up to, and it doesn't have to be the straightest thing ever. We just kind of want to thin it out a little bit so it doesn't extend past where the hair is going to be. Yeah, something like that, right? So this will be part of the face and also the front part of the hair. Yeah, I think we got that pretty well. Let's go with a size 15 brush and do like the bottom of like the chin. Just have it like round. That's borderline perfect. Yeah, yeah. Let me try to move it over a little bit. That was a really nice, swift, confident brush stroke. I like it. Yeah, the head is coming together pretty well. And while I'm here, let me go ahead and just do these ears. Go with a size 12. You know what I mean? I don't like how that one connects. All right, yeah, like that. I was so curious to see how my style would be on here. Looks like it works pretty well though. Now, might as well go ahead and draw the mouth. Give me a sec. Trying to figure out how I want to do all this. The head is almost done though. Let me turn up the eyes a bit. Ooh. Okay. Let me hit Control S to save so I don't lose anything. He looks like an anime character too, which again is another good thing. Teen Titans is a very anime-esque kind of cartoon. Okay, so we got the head here. Trying to make sure I. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's do the mouth and the chin and everything, and then I'll move on to like the hair. I love how I did this. His face is freaking awesome. Yeah, that double chin action, boy. That double chin action going crazy. Whew, okay. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I love this design, dude. I love this design. Okay. Let's see. We got we'll call this the face. Face. I can't spell today or in general. No, I can spell pretty well actually. English is not a weak point for me. Sometimes I'll spell stuff and I'll be like, it'll be some wild spelling and I'll be like, I think it's spelled like this, and I'll be like, oh man, it is spelled like this. He kind of looks like a Scooby Doo villain the way I drew him too, which they're both Warner Brothers cartoons, I guess, but and Scooby Doo has crossed over with DC before, like Batman, and technically Robin was in that same cartoon. So technically, if you want to be completely technical, Scooby Doo has crossed over with the Teen Titans before. I don't know if that was a Teen Titans Robin. It could have been Robin before the events of Teen Titans, before he left Batman or whatever. No, the face is just done so well. Like, bro, I hate to glaze myself, but like, bro, I kind of killed this. For somebody that doesn't draw fat dudes, this is a really it's a really dope fat dude that I drew. feel like calling him a fat dude is kind of demeaning, but that could be a compliment, man. Like, if I called somebody a big dude and they were trying to be big, that would be a compliment. So, trying to think. Okay, so now I need to do the hair. And the hair is gonna have two parts because the hair is gonna have the back of the hair and then it's gonna have that ponytail, which it is really not gonna be as big of an issue as I'm making it, in all honesty. Let's go for the top of the hair, let's go with another size 8. Let's call this the head. So I gotta put the face and everything into like one layer. I guess I don't have to, but it'd make life easier for me if all of this were in like one layer. So we're really only 2.5 hours into the stream. This stream feels like it's been going on for like 3 hours, which I guess is a good problem to have. I'm having fun, so no matter how long it felt like I was gonna keep doing it, but it's just weird that on that small amount of time has elapsed. Sick though, sick. And I'm just gonna get these little tufts at the top, and then just kind of okay, okay. For that, I'm gonna not do that. Okay, so now I'm gonna get like a size 12 and just bring the hair. I need to know how long his hair is. Let me see if I can like find give me a sec. I've definitely I've definitely seen control freaks like hair length. You would think that like his hair is as long in the front as it's supposed to be in the back, but like I didn't show how long it's supposed to be in the back. There's a fly buzzing around me, and I'm gonna kill it. Oh my god. Okay, so again, I want to be as accurate as oh, wait. Okay, so I see an image of him with the hive. It pretty much ends where like the front part ends, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna just go like I'm gonna hit P, and I meant to add music to these streams. I haven't gotten around to it, but I don't like how I did that already. Yeah. Then we're gonna go and do a similar thing with the opposite side. Just all right. That's a little rough on this one side, but again, it can be a little unruly. I think that's fine. It's kind of supposed to be. Plus, it's the back and it's behind the body. You're not gonna see it anyway for the most part. Let's just kind of try to tweak some of this up a little bit. Actually, let me delete this part. Okay, so we got the hair. We got the hair down. Control S. He looks so. I don't know. I don't know because in Teen Titans he definitely looks more cartoony, but this looks like a straight up comic book character, which I think is great. I think it's great for him to look like he like a comic book iteration of himself because he. I don't know. Seeing certain characters like fully realized as like a full on cartoon or fully realized as like a full on comic rather than a cartoon is just so cool. I feel like. All right, so we pretty much got the head down. Let's see, yeah, that's the head, and this is the back of the hair. So the hair, the head, the ears, everything we got. We got.